This video is for people who are looking to upgrade, replace, or install a reverse cycle air conditioner using the VEU scheme, the Victorian Energy Upgrade Scheme. There's basically zero transparency right now in the industry. If you wanted to know the number of rebates that you can get, so the number of VEUs, what the value you can get for redeeming them, or even what you can get a rebate for, there's very little information online. There are lots of companies that are just targeting a specific type of rebate and they're not interested in helping you. So this video is going to tell you all about that. The layout of this video is I'm going to cover how you yourself can calculate the value of the rebates that you'll be getting for your upgrade type. I'll show you how to use the Victorian Energy Upgrades calculator to calculate the number of VEUs that you can get based on the upgrade types. And then I'll save you a lot of work by showing you indicative rebate amounts that you can get for the 7 different upgrade types for upgrading to split systems, multi-split systems, or ducted systems. There are 7 different types of upgrades. So you can upgrade from a hardwired electric heater, from a central electric resistance slab heater, so an underfloor slab heater, from ducted gas, from non-ducted gas, from ducted air conditioning, from non-ducted air conditioning. And you can even get rebates for no decommissioning activity whatsoever. So you can get a rebate just for installing a new system as long as it's an energy. I'll show you exactly how to figure out the number of rebates that you can get. So who are we? Who am I? I'm the owner of gridless.com.au. I'm only going to say this once, but if you are looking to get an air conditioning system installed, we connect you with the best installers in Victoria so that you can get a quote that is competitively priced with good warranties and with good quality companies that are vetted. So if you're wanting to calculate what rebates you can get on your own, this is the website that you need to use. It's the Victorian, so the VEU registry. So this is the URL. I will link it in the description of the video and of the accompanying blog post. It's veuregistry.vic.gov.au and you go to this calculator section. So there are a couple different fields. The first one is activity date, and we're going to say it's today. And the activity date changes every year. The number of rebates that you can get changes every year. So if you want to play around with that, October 2024 to January 2025, you should see a different number of rebates. Specifically, I'm only talking about space heating and cooling. This video is mainly for residential, but there's business as well. So you can choose business. We definitely help out with businesses, but there are a lot more people with homes that are asking questions. So the first thing you're going to want to do is to figure out what sort of upgrade type you have. So this is for upgrading from the system to a reverse cycle air conditioner. At this point, it doesn't matter which reverse cycle air conditioner, that's the next step. If you have a ducted gas system that you want to replace, you'll choose ducted gas heater only. But if you have a ducted gas system and a refrigerative air conditioner that you also want to upgrade, so it may be a split system, you can choose that option as well. For now, we're just going to be looking at replacing a ducted gas heater only for the example. Then we're going to choose the brand. For this example, we'll use a Mitsubishi Electric. There are lots of different model numbers available. So if you actually look at the entire list, there are thousands of model numbers. So you want to be very specific about what you're looking for. So we're going to choose Mitsubishi Electric. And then we're going to choose their 16 kilowatt model. So they have a 16 single phase and 3 phase. So that's the difference between these two. You really have to understand the difference between the models. So there are some questions there. And then there's also postcodes. So I'll briefly go into postcodes. Victoria has a couple of different energy zones, and depending on the energy zone, you actually qualify for more or fewer rebates. I'll get that open for you. VEU, Victoria climate zones. If you've got Victoria climate zones, you'll see the Victoria climate zone map. Okay, and then look, you have all these different zones. So in blue, in light blue, you have the main zones and you get your standard rebates here. And in these blue zones, you actually get slightly more of a rebate for upgrading. So there's more money in it for you. That's why the postcode actually matters. And then the total heating capacity, this only matters for a multi-split system. So I'll also show you how to do it for a multi-split system in just a second. So we'll do that. But it doesn't really matter. So if you are doing a single split or a ducted system, you just need to put 1 in each of these. Then you put in the puzzle. It's going to tell you the number of rebates that are available. So these are the VEUs, okay? And you can look at the VEU price to see what VEUs are currently trading at. Now, just because it says $108 doesn't mean you can actually get $108 for these. There are costs involved with certificates. You have to apply for the certificates, you have to trade the certificates, and there's also administrative costs to just submit the certificates. And it's actually quite an in-depth process. So it's not as simple as it seems. So you won't actually be able to get the full amount. And more often than not, the installer will also take a cut out of these. So this is just an indicative amount. For my calculations, I use a price of 93, but again, it's always going to change depending on the company that's quoting you, but you can arm yourself with this knowledge to get the best possible deal. So this is how you do it for a split or a ducted system, and I'll show you how to do it for a multi-split system as well. So if I choose Medea and then I choose a MDV V200, just as an example. Now, if you do this, it's going to give you a V amount that doesn't even make sense. It's too low. So what this is based on is the individual heads that you get. For my video, I used an example of getting 4 heads with a heating capacity of 20 and a slightly lower cooling capacity. So just as an example, when you look up the cooling and heating capacity of each head, you need to sum all of those numbers up, and then you'll get a number like 19.1, and you'll get a number here like 20.3. Once you put those in, you can see that you get more rebates. But if you do like maybe 13 versus 14.4, you'll actually get fewer rebates. So this is why if you choose to get smaller kilowatt systems, it's more expensive. So that's that portion of the video. Now I'm going to be going through the examples that I've gone through so you don't have to do any of the work. Okay, so I prepared this presentation to show you the different types of heaters that you'll be replacing and the indicative price of the rebates you might get. So for each example, I'm using the same examples. I've got a 7.1 kilowatt Mitsubishi Electric for the split. For the multi-split, I've got a 4-head 20 kilowatt Medea and a 16 kilowatt Mitsubishi Electric. So this is for replacing an electric hardwired heater. So you'll get almost $1,400 for replacing that with a split Mitsubishi Electric. You'll get the same amount for doing that with a multi-head, and you'll get a little bit less for replacing ducted. And of course, this disclaimer, everything, you're probably not going to be able to claim the full amount of the rebate, which is the rebate price. And this is our copyright Gridless 2024. Okay. This is probably the most exciting one. This is for underfloor slab heaters, and this is the most expensive one. You can get up to $10,700 in some cases. So this is for underfloor slab heating. So for a split system, and bear in mind, you can get multiple split systems for this. So you can get multiple splits, like that's fine as well. For getting a single split from replacing an underfloor slab heater, you get $5,800, but I would recommend you obviously go multiple split systems. You can get a multi-split, and I should clarify that the difference between a multi-split and a split is a multi-split is one compressor connected to multiple heads within the home, whereas a split is just like one head, right? And you can only qualify for one upgrade. So if you're replacing your underfloor slab heater with 2 splits, you only get the rebate for one of those splits, not both, but you get like $5,800 total. I hope that makes sense. For the ducted, you get $10,137 for a 16 kilowatt Mitsubishi. You can also replace, if you have an old refrigerative air conditioner as well, you can replace that for an extra couple $100. I mean, it's up to you whether you think that's worth it. It's not a lot of money, and your installer will probably charge you the same amount to remove it, so there's no real net benefit. Okay, so this is a rebate for ducted gas. This is probably the most common. This is what most companies are looking at. So you get, because it's very common in Victoria to have ducted gas, right? And usually they're pretty old. People want to upgrade. You save a lot of money by getting a reverse cycle. So this is for a split system, 7.1 kilowatt Mitsubishi Electric, you'll get $3,000. For the multi-split, you'll get about $7,000, and for ducted, you'll get about almost $6,000. So we also can get upgrades for upgrading a gas wall heater. You can get almost $1,800 for a split. You can get almost $4,200 for a multi-split, and you get almost $3,300 for a ducted system. Moving on. You can also get rebates for upgrading non-ducted reverse cycle air conditioning. You can get almost $1,800 for upgrading this to a split. You can get almost $2,700 for upgrading it to a multi-split. And you can get almost $1,700 for replacing it with a ducted system. And finally, actually not finally, you can get a split reverse cycle air conditioner rebate too for upgrading a split reverse cycle aircon. You get $600 just for upgrading that to a regular split, $1,200 for upgrading it to a multi-split, and almost $300 for upgrading to a 16 kilowatt Mitsubishi electric. So not a lot of money, but still, better than nothing. Realistically, you're not going to get that much of a discount, but you can always bring this up to your installer or contractor. And finally, you can actually get a decent amount of rebates without any decommissioning. So this is just installing a fresh system. You get $200 for a split, $400 for a multi-split, and almost $600 deducted. So guys, that's it. That's the video. Thank you so much for watching. And please reach out if you have any questions. If you want us to help you, just reach out.